Hi, and welcome to this video on SolidWorks sketching. In this video, we're going to cover the basics of how to sketch on planes in SolidWorks. This is meant as a very basic introductory video on how to use SolidWorks. To get started, let's open a new document. Again, we're going to start in a part document because in order to build assemblies, we'll need parts, and in order to build drawings, we'll also need parts. So let's go ahead and start with a basic part. You'll notice over in your feature manager that there are several different planes that SolidWorks sets up by default, as well as an origin. The origin is at the center of the intersection of the front, top, and right planes. In order to sketch in SolidWorks, you always have to be on a two-dimensional plane. You can choose whether you want to start on the front, the top, or the right planes. The choice is really up to you. Typically, I try and think about the orientation of the part, and I draw it so that the top plane of the part is the top plane in SolidWorks, the front plane is the front, and the right plane is the right. It's not a big deal if you do it backwards, but this is just helpful for me as I think about modeling. I'm going to go ahead and open up a new sketch on the front plane. There are several ways that you can do this. First, when you click on front plane, you'll notice the context toolbar comes up, and there's a little symbol for a sketch, the blue line with the pencil. That's the sketch symbol. You can also do it by selecting the plane in the graphics area. Notice that same menu comes up. You can choose to open a sketch, to hide or show the plane, and so on. Okay. You can also do it by coming up into the command manager at the top bar and clicking on sketch. If you click on sketch, it then highlights the different planes that are in your part file, and you can choose which one to sketch on. Any of these ways are acceptable. As you get used to it though, I think you will more than likely click on a plane and then use your context manager or context toolbar to open up a new sketch. Once we're in a sketch, all of our sketching tools become active. You can see there are all sorts of different tools here. I can draw a circle here really quick. Very simple to do, and if I hold down the scroll wheel and move my mouse around, that circle rotates. Okay? If I like how the circle is drawn, I can just click check. However, most of the time, I'm going to actually want that circle to stay the same, a particular size. Notice I can click on the edge of the circle and drag it, and I change the size of the circle. Okay, so there's no real size assigned. When I have that circle selected, you see it turns from being the dark blue to being a light blue color. You can see that the feature manager now has a bunch of information about that circle. It shows different parameters for where it's located, and it gives you its size. I can also type in my size here if I want it to be a particular size, like 1.5 inches. However, typing in the size here does not fix that size. I can still grab and drag. This is because the sketch is called underdefined at this time. And you can see that down here at the bottom line where it says underdefined. How do we define a sketch? You want to define a sketch by making it so that everything is fixed, the geometry is fully defined. Right now in SolidWorks, all we have is a circle. We don't know what size the circle is. We haven't told it anything about the circle other than it's a circle and it's located at the origin. I can change that by adding a smart dimension. When I click on the circle, after I've chosen the smart dimension command, you can see a dimension pops up. And now it gives me an opportunity to set that dimension. What the circle size was when I drew it was 5.30 inches. I can now change that back to the 1.5 that I want, and the circle is now 1.5 inches in diameter, and you'll notice it has turned black. All right. Also, if we look in the bottom right-hand corner, you can see the sketch is fully defined. This is how you want your sketches to be. You want your sketches fully defined before you use them to build geometry. How do I build geometry? Well, I can do that several ways. I'm still in the sketch, but if I want to just extrude it, it will allow me to shortcut out and make an extrusion. An extrusion is just like pulling a two-dimensional shape in one direction to make a three-dimensional shape. It's sort of similar to your Play-Doh spaghetti press, where you stick the Play-Doh in and you shove it through a two-dimensional shape and it comes out and it kind of makes a piece of spaghetti. Same thing with the extrusion. It just takes a two-dimensional sketch that we just created, in this case a circle, and it extends it out in a third dimension, a set distance. You can set that distance either by dragging the arrow, as I'm doing there, or over here in the feature manager, you can say, well, I only want it to be half an inch thick. And there you go. You have made your very first three-dimensional geometry in SolidWorks. Now, what if I want to put a hole on this, or I want to add some more material? Now I can either select one of my front planes or one of my planes to add a sketch, or I can just select a face that I would like to sketch on. Notice I can't open a sketch as easily on a round face as I can on this flat face. Okay, so if I pick this face, I can click on sketch, and now if I grab another tool here, maybe I'll just grab the line tool and draw a line, you can see that that line lies on the front face of my cylinder. Okay, if I exit this sketch, my line turns gray. So if you're ever drawing and all of a sudden all of the lines in your sketch are gray, it means that you've exited the sketch and you can't really do anything with it. See, I can't really get rid of that. If I do, it actually will delete the entire sketch. Okay, so if I say yes, I want to get rid of it, notice the sketch disappears out of my feature manager. Let me undo that. You can see here's my sketch, and then when I click on it and delete it, it asks me, are you sure you want to do that? And I say yes. Okay, and it goes away from the feature tree. So anytime you want to open up a sketch, I think the best way to do it is select where in the drawing you want to open it and then use the context manager. Now, SolidWorks has a bunch of little shortcuts that I want to show you as well. When you're in a sketch, if you hold down your right mouse button and drag to the side, it opens up a set of tools. This is a quick shortcut way of getting different commonly used tools. So you can see here when I drag right, it gives me the option of a circle, the dimension tool, the line tool, or the rectangle tool. So this is a quick way to grab what you want and keep moving on. All right. So I'm going to draw a rectangle in the center of my circle here. And when I first draw it, notice that it is completely blue, meaning it's completely underdefined. Now, if I want this to be exactly in the center of my sketch, how can I make that happen? That's what we're going to cover in our next video on sketch relations. Thanks for watching, and tune in to keep track of what's happening in SolidWorks.